Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here I am again with the wig. Okay. As you can see, I still have a bozo wing on this side, but look at everything else. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I will braid these. Some of them I'll braid all the way down, as you can see. And then others, I'm probably just going to cut the ends and just do a light dip in hot water to make sure I get rid of the frays. But for right now, I've braided it down as far as I'm going to take it. And then I'm just going to snip it like this on an angle. See? And that'll be it. And then I'll dip this, and I'm rolling in my fingers a little bit to make it a little smoother. But once I dip it, it'll be okay. But you see, and I found my wig stand too. These come in real handy, people. See? It clips onto a table, and that's what it looks like. And it just makes it so much easier. I stuffed some paper in here because it was making this really loud noise. And so I've got it on here. Oops. All right, I messed up a little bit. Okay, now it's back on. But you see how this is now looking? It's taken shape. It's long. I am going to cut it. I don't need all this extra hair. It's just too much hair. And for those who wear wigs, you know how eventually, if it's in the back, it gets matted. And I don't want that. Now, in braiding them down, see, I braid them all the way down. In this one, I'll just show you a little bit of how I'm doing this. See, it goes all the way down. It's not really going. So I'm going to twirl it a little bit in my hands. Like twist it. Okay. This particular hair is not bad because it has a texture kind of like our hair. And I just snip it on an angle. Just on an angle. You see that? And that's the way I'm going to do it. But you see, this whole side is done. All done. I'm almost finished. But I don't think it'll be ready for tomorrow. But it's almost finished. See? Look at that. And then we have this side. Here is my one bozo wing left. And then I will be at the next phase of this. Now some of these I'm going to take out because I didn't really like them. This is a little bit too thick compared to this. Not this one. Let me show you. You see, wait a minute. Maybe they're all the same. No, they're not. You see how this one is smaller? Not too much, but weight does matter when you're looking at an overall project. So this is still a little bit too heavy. This is just right. And in some cases, I made them even thinner than that. Let's see. Because I didn't want a lot of weight on my head. You see the difference in those? This is like half the size of this almost. So I will be taking out these because I need them to be shorter anyway, because I plan on cutting them into a nice cute bang. I figured that's what I want for one side of it. It will be bangs. The other side, I'll flip it the other way, and then I can wear it just down like this. And the bangs will be hidden because it will be worn in reverse. So the bangs will be in the back underneath, and then I'll have a style more like this in the front, where I can flip the hair over. That's why it's good to keep your wig head and just cut all the hair off and go with something else. So I can wear it like this if I want, and it will still be pretty cute. You see how that goes? And it's real easy to do this. So remember I talked about anchoring the braids in first and then just go back and braid them down. So I've done this like here. This is I've already done like the pre-braiding to get it in. And now I'm going to braid it down. And one of the things that you can use, which I didn't mention last time, I mentioned using a spray bottle to help with traction and It also helps with flyaways. But I also use just a little bit of hair ointment, just a little bit, and I'll put it on there and see how easy it now makes this hair easy to braid. It's fast. And I used to braid extremely fast. I haven't braided in a while, so I didn't know I still had it in me, but I do. Let's see how this is. I'm just braiding it down really quick. Now, the African sisters, they have got this down because remember, they all come from maybe the same village and they all have the same braiding technique. So when you go to them, we're not used to having more than one person work on our head. There's a superstition that I grew up with that it was bad luck to have more than one person working on your hair. Well, I don't understand that because your luck is your luck. And they do it now. If you went into a shop, an African shop, and wanted your hair braided this thin by one person, it would take days to do it. These sisters all come from the same tribes. They all braid the same. So there'll usually be about 4 people working on your head at once. And they can do something. You think I'm fast right here? Oh, I'm slow compared to them. They have it. And there's also different braiding techniques that I will go over at another time. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing because this is a little close up. You see? I braided it all the way down. No, that's this one. I braided it all the way down. And now I'm going to braid this one almost to the end. Now, if you want your braids to curve, there's a technique for that. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. My hands are flat and I'm doing my fingertips. And I'm going up and down and around, up and down and around. And you're going to flip it almost like you're flipping it backwards, like that. You're going to flip it backwards like that. And you keep doing that. And you stay right on top of the braid with your fingers. See? I'm staying right on top. And then I keep going, keep going. You can't see me because I'm out of camera. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. And you see how my hands are right on top of the braid. And I'm keep going down. Now I'll show you the end results. The end results are just you're going to say, wow, is that how you do it? All right, you see I'm staying right on top of the braid and flipping it back. Back, 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 back. Now look, see how it curls? It's not just straight down, it's got body to it. And that's how you do it. It's just using the inside pieces of your fingers, the top part of your finger on the inside, and it's got to be flat. And that's what will happen. Now it's got body to it. It curls. You don't even have to curl it. It will naturally do that. You just fold it back. If you want to flip it out, you're going to spin it around like this on your finger, press it, and look. It now comes up like that. And once I trim it, get all the frayed ends off, you see I'm cutting it on an angle. There we go. End of story. Nice project. Now here's another one that's been anchored in. All right. Now I'm going to put some hair grease on it, or hair ointment as they say. And I'm going to spray it down. All right. And then I'm just going to braid. Go back to where it was. Make sure it's in 3s. And here I go. See? And it's going to make it go. And you see how I'm braiding. I'm not braiding up here. I'm just braiding. Just braiding it out. Just braiding it out, braiding it out. See? I'm not using tips or nothing. I'm just braiding. All right, you get a rhythm going. Everybody's got their own rhythm with this. And I'm going to turn it away from us a little bit. So 4 people on your head or 6 people on your head, let them do it. It's all going to come out the same when they're finished. Because like I say, they've all been raised together in the same village. So they know how to do this, and they're very good at it. We didn't start braiding. We did not create it. It came with the package when the slaves came over in the slave ships. They brought their way of managing hair came with them. All right, so you see this? And now now you see, I'm going to switch to the flat part where I do it. And this is a good way to grab little small pieces too. All right, so you see, there you go. I angle it, angle cut. See that? And that's it. That's the whole thing. So I'm going to be anchoring in all of this. All of this you see here. I will anchor this in. And once it's all anchored in, then I will go back and finish it off. You see how some of these are frayed? I will go back and I'll be cutting these. See, I'll just cut the ends, snip. See? And that's it. And I'll go around and do all of that to the whole entire thing. I want to be lazy and say, oh, I don't feel like finishing this. And then just cover it over for tomorrow and wear it covered over at work. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. I made a commitment to myself to finish it. Now, this is this hair here. I wanted some, a few little highlights against it. Not much, but just something to give it some dimension. So it's not all, just this. So I have some white pieces in, but I didn't necessarily like them. So what I was going to do is take them out. But then I ran just a little bit of hair oil on them. And it gave them some sheen because they were flat. They had no oomph. It looked like threads in my head. But once I oiled them down, then they took on a sheen. So they didn't stick out as much. I'll give you one that, like this. See, this looks like a piece of yarn in my head. Whereas this got some sheen to it. So it doesn't look as bad. So I will probably take this one out because it's a little thick. Whereas the other one isn't. It kind of blends in. And see at the end, I'm going to open it up just slightly. All right. And now I want you all to see. I'm just doing the tips. I'm using the tips of my fingers to go up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. And keep doing up and back, up and back, up and back until I'm done. See? And actually, this hair works a little better at the ends than the other hair does. So this is up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. See that? I'm using just the tips of my fingers and I'm going up and back over the braid. Up and back. And then get to the end. I can twirl the ends. This is a lot more forgiving because in a sense, I don't even have to burn the ends or dip them in water or nothing. See? Now, over a period of time, that's going to look kind of natural. Also, another thing you can do. This is what I used to do when I was actually in the hair braiding business. I would take the ends and just go like this. See? And now it takes on a more natural appearance. So a lot of times when customers would come to me and see how it looks. That looks pretty okay. A lot of my customers would say, somebody actually thought this was my real hair. Because number one, I put oil on it to give it some shine. And then they said the ends look so natural. Because this is what I was doing. I was just going like this. Just curling it very carefully with a pair of scissors. And the pair of scissors is going to, in a sense, kind of trim it. But you see, now this is not the same hair texture as the other hair, but you see it achieved almost the same kind of end. So if you don't want to burn it or dip it in water or any of those things, you just do that to it. And this has a little lump in it. So I'll go back and, straighten that out. But it's like quilt making. You can have a mistake in it as long as nobody really sees it. It's okay. But you see how these two pieces look now? Over a period of time, that's going to look like it's actually a person's hair. So that's just a little trick that I used to do. So I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to let y'all see some of it, but I'm not going to take up your whole day showing you this because it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. I'm going to find where that track is, and this hair really needed a makeover. Otherwise, I would have had to throw it away. All right, so we find out where the track is. Okay, so we have here, and I mean this, look at it. Gee, imagine if that was somebody's hair. I have worked on somebody whose hair was kind of like that. She had a weave in for 6 months, and it was looking a mess. And her name was Valerie. Valerie, maybe you're out there somewhere. She was an RN in the DC area. Very pretty. She reminded me of Phyllis Hyman in her looks. All right, so if you're out there, Valerie, somewhere, and you're listening to this, hey, girl, remember what I did for you? Her hair was a mess. I mean a mess. It had been 6 months wearing this weave, and people, a lot of you can get away with that, but then you've got to watch your hair type. Many, many people cannot get away with a 6-month weave. She had 6 months of hair growth that she said everybody else she went to would just simply cut her hair and start over. See, this is what that white hair looks like. This is more of it. This is what it looks like. And you see that was just, I know I wanted white, but I didn't want that. I wanted natural white, which is what this is. This is natural white. Here's what this looks like. It's natural white, you see? That looks more realistic. So I'm blending the two of them together. But Valerie, her hair was a mess. And I told her, I'm not going to cut your hair. It's going to take a while. And we're going to be spending the whole entire day together. And she had gotten a hotel room. I forgot how she found out about me. But she lived in DC. And she was coming down to me in Virginia to get her hair done. Because I was the only person, she said she'd never met anyone willing to do what I did. And that was, I did not cut her hair off. I sat there with a knitting needle, a very fine knitting needle. And I had cut the weave out very carefully, and her hair was matted. I sat there with a knitting needle and combed her hair with it until we got all of the tangles out. She was just amazed at how much hair growth she really had. And I told her, I said, this is what's been happening. They let you go that long because they know what they're going to do. They're just going to cut your hair off and put another weave up there. I'm about growing your own hair out. So we're going to do it differently. And you see how I've got this? I'm only doing the black all the way up to the top of the black. And then I leave it because we need that for coverage so that it doesn't show. So that the wig cap doesn't show. All right, you see how I did that? Now it's in. It's in. Some of the hair didn't catch, but that's okay. I have a trash bag right below it. All right, so I'll just pull all that off because it's going to get in my way. But I grew out Valerie's hair. Within a year, she had hair down to her shoulders. And that had never happened for her because everybody else was just cutting her hair off and putting tracks up there because they knew every 6 months she was coming back. All right, so now I'm going to put a little oil on it. All right, and I'm going to get some spray water. And that's what I'm going to do. So there we go. All right. Looks fabulous, doesn't it? Well, don't say yes or no. Wait until it's a completed project. All right, so I'm anchoring it. And now I'm getting ready to go to the next one. But you see how it looks? See? And it's just a little bit more than the actual hair. That's why I wanted them thinner, because over a period of doing a whole head, if I had done this size everywhere, it would have been extremely heavy. This way it keeps it feather light. It's pretty much the same as the hair that I selected. It's not too much bigger than that. Not really, because then there would be a big difference here, and it's not. So this is going to happen where I'm just anchoring them in all the way around. You know, I like my name Felice's Closet because, like I said, there are a lot of things that can be in a closet. And now we're finding out. I got another skill set that I'm sharing with you that came out of the closet. All right, so I'm going to just untangle this. And you see this kind of got a gap in it. I have a choice. Either I can make this one or I can make it two separate pieces. I'm going to make it one piece because you can't really tell because it's where it is, where it's located. It's not going to be major. And see, it's going to start there. So it kind of fills in so you won't see the underneath. Well, you can see that, but you don't see any netting. See, there's my finger, there's the netting. So we'll put it like this, and that way you don't see any of that. And you're going to just do the whole head. I'm going to anchor the whole thing all the way up. It gets anchored. And after I've anchored it, that's when I'll go back and braid it all the way down. So we go on to the next piece. Now this is what a braider will probably do if they're just themselves doing it. Them African sisters, they got this. That's why I enjoyed watching them when I lived in New York. And I will come back in another episode. Won't be right away. But I'll come back with another episode showing you what they do. Or what they do. Not what they did. What they do. And it's incredible. These different styles that they make using string. But we also can use synthetic hair now, because synthetic hair wasn't around then. So at that time, I think wigs were human hair for the most part. And then they got into the synthetic. So see, I'm just going to go below where the hair is. And that's it. Boom. All right. And just imagine, I'm going to be doing this all day. Up to the next row. I'm going all the way out to the front. I might finish this today, people. I just might make it, but I don't think so. And then the original wig, you see it was getting raggedy. It was really getting gnarly and not worth keeping. But I couldn't find this combination. Even the place where I got it, which is called His and Her Wigs on Wilshire Boulevard here in LA. I just could not find. I called them up. I'm like, look, you had this wig. They said, go online and you'll see what we have. I went online. They didn't have nothing like it. Nothing. So I was just really frustrated. Like, what am I going to do? And the wig that I had gotten was terrible. It's on one of my Facebook pages. I don't like it. I'm like, this looks yellow. That's not what I wanted. If I wanted yellow, I would have gotten yellow. And plus the wig was cheaply made and everything. You should see it. If I'd been wearing that, people would have been laughing at me because you could see the tracks right through it. So that one I might redo and probably find some hair some synthetic hair that's maybe more wavy or something, and cut all that stuff off. And also, the wig didn't fit my head. So that was another downer with it. It did not fit my head. So now I'm just going to take the piece and anchor it in. Okay, I'm dividing it, remember, into 3, with one side being untouched and the other side being split. And it averages out when you're finished. So this is 1, 2, and 3. I made 3 pieces. And now I'm attaching it. See at the top? It gets attached. And now it's in. But it's not in enough for me to say, okay, it's finished. Now, if you wanted the hair to be left out, just braid it below the original hair. Or cut the original hair shorter. And just have maybe, you need at least 2 inches. And then you can just leave it out. But here we go. See? Braid it below. And here's where I use that tip technique again. See, I go here, there, and I'm going backwards, backwards, backwards. And that's to stop some of the fraying. In another video, I will teach how to make a fishbone braid, which is fairly easy. And it looks so pretty once it's done. It's a very beautiful braid. All right, you see, I've stopped just about the same as I did on the other one. Okay. And so now remember I said I have a choice of either making this 2 or 3. I decided to just make it 2. And I'm going to finger comb it to get some of the spacing out of it. All right. And I will start right there. And I have a couple of pieces of hair already prepared and sized and everything. And I will just keep doing this until it is done. And you'll have so much fun doing it. I will be doing a video of the place where I get my wig heads. Very economical. I'm sure I will talk with him about giving a deal to anyone who orders from my, using me as a reference. I'm going to work that out with him because I'm bringing him customers, you. And his shop is really big. And they have all types of display equipment. So for those of you who are in the market to get display equipment, this will be a great place. So I will be doing a video of his shop. And I let him know that I would be coming back to do that. Because it was just the wig heads are inexpensive. If you were to get them from him, and let's say you get a 12 wig heads, I'm sure he's going to reduce the price quite a bit. Because there's a lot of competition out there. And everybody knows their biggest competitor is Amazon. So for those who know what to do, know what to do. Those who don't, don't. You see, I've just braided them part of the way. And then when I get them all in, I'll go back and then just braid them all down. But you see the netting. And it basically just go along with what the wig is doing. See, this is netting up here. Now I could, but I don't have to. I could crochet in or take a needle and sew in another piece of hair in here if I needed it. But I don't need it. It's got enough coverage. I'm just going with the way the wig is already constructed. See? So we have this, which I'm putting my finger on it so you can see that it's open. And then we have the hair, which is on a weft or a track, which is what people are most familiar with calling it. It's on a track. Long as I don't bunch this up or like that, then it's going to still fit the way it's supposed to. And with the black being up here and it's loose, if I did bunch it up, it'll still have that stretch. Okay, so here I've got one. I would say that's one by itself. No, I got to divide that up. So that's one. This is two. And this is number three. Right there. Once again, the black also helps with this not getting tight where it doesn't fit like it did originally. So as my hair grows, my own hair grows out, I have to be very careful of the wigs that I buy because it's hard to find wigs for a larger head. Now, I was just thinking about one that I have that's like a fuchsia color, and I cut it to where it's like big at the top. I think Tina Turner, which is one of my favorite singers, Tina Turner had a style where it was big at the top and short at the back. I want to do one. I have one like that now that I cut like that. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to buy the same hair because once again, for me, it's the fit. Same hair, but longer. I think I want to wear it long and big. And that'll be one of my looks. Because I figured out what I'll do at work because I'm a bartender in season. I will wear different wigs until it gets too hot. Once it gets too hot, all that comes off and the real me shows up wearing my locks, which I absolutely love because I can flat iron them. I have fun with my hair. Uh, Stylists who do locks say, oh no, don't do that. Just wear it natural. This is growing out of my head, people. Not the stylist's head. This is my head. I'm not just going to wear my hair the way it is. Oh, don't put this in it. Don't really. Right now, I'm still on my coffee challenge. My edges have come in. Um, there's this rumor going around, something dealing with edges. Well, for a long time, I was doing a comb over because my edges had left. They left the building. My edges walked out. They said, okay, here's how we're going to do this. One at a time, we're leaving. And then I had this like receding hairline that was like, oh boy, I can't do this. So the coffee challenge worked out for me. But before I got to the coffee, I had tried Vicks. Vicks Vapor Rub. It will grow your hair, people. It really does work. It's just don't get Vicks because Vicks has a strong odor that stays around because of the eucalyptus. But I got it from the Dollar Tree. It's the same product, but it's got the same ingredients. But the smell part evaporates kind of quick. So it's really the one to use because the smell goes away. Whereas that Vicks is not going away. It's going to stick with you. And it does work. It does work. But I think the coffee works faster than the Vicks. But Vicks does. The Vicks Vapor Rub Hair Challenge is real. It really does work. But I've been trying different things, natural things. I didn't want to do Rogaine and all of that and get stuck. So I've been trying all the natural ways. Vicks does work, but the coffee works faster. I might do a combination of Vicks and coffee and see what happens. And I'll let you all know, how did it work out for me? Because the coffee challenge is definitely working. I am almost ready to go to one of them African sisters and have them just put a couple of braids on the end of the hair or some twist or something because I can't reach it, and have them just fill it in for me with some small, very, very tiny braids like what I'm doing, and then lock it as it grows out. So that might be the solution that I come up with because it is growing. I have hair in places I didn't have anything. I didn't even have fuzz. It was just Maybe if I had fuzz, it was just very light, very small, and it wasn't growing. But that coffee, when I did try the coffee, oh, it's a wrap. My hair is growing back, and I want to keep it a certain length. I don't want my hair very, very long, but I do want it back to its original length, which was probably around the middle of my shoulder blades, or maybe a little shorter than that because I'm older now. But yeah, I do want to get my hair back, and I do come from a hair and hip family, and they're breasty too. But yeah, we can have thick, long hair, not short hair, thick, long hair. And in the South, hair was queen. If you had long hair, you were in. It had nothing to do with your color, but if you had long hair, you were in. Now, if you were long, back in the day when color was still such an issue, and I'm so surprised that it still is. We should be beyond this, light skin, dark skin fight, but we still have it going on. And there was this calypso singer. Everybody who's Caribbean knows him, the Mighty Sparrow. His solution to it was brown skinned girl, stay home and mind baby. Now ain't that something? So if you're brown skinned, you're supposed to stay home and mind the children. But everybody else could go out. But we need to be beyond that. Now we do still have the good hair versus bad hair. That's a matter of opinion. If you want hair that can be, my hair was not the type that you could use a brush and some hair grease and it lays down. That was not going to happen. I had the kind that was really tough. Hairstylists loved me because they said I could take a hard press to my hair and it would be okay. And they used to rake my hair like nobody's business. I'm like, with all the hair coming out, how can you be saying that? You're raking my hair out my head. The last hairstylist I went to, I was like, I'm tired of this. See, and now I snip it, braid it down, and it's gone. Okay, so I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to, that's a habit. So I twisted it a little bit, added some hair ointment, and I'm spraying it. Now, my daughter's dad, talk about some hair that was flexible. This guy could wear his hair any way he wanted. If he wanted curly hair, he just wet it. And he had the prettiest curls in his hair. If he wanted straight hair, because he went through that, when guys were straightening their hair and wearing rollers and looking stupid, especially out here in California, wearing rollers in their hair and stuff. Come on now. Looking like pimps. That's what I used to think. These guys look like they're pimps. He could wear his hair any way he wanted. Any way he wanted. I mean, he just had such flexible hair. He had these curls one day. He would blow dry it out and it would be straight. And if he wanted to wear an afro, he just wet it, and I don't know what he did, but he could wear an afro. A straight up afro like me. He had the most prettiest hair. And my daughter got her dad's hair. When she cut it real short one time, it looked fabulous on her. And it was just as pretty as ever. She had her dad's, that's how she found out for real that she had her dad's hair. But she has the hair that you can do the same thing. You can wet it and, brush it with a really good brush. And it'll be just as straight as ever. Or she can curl it. My grandson came out with that same hair too. But his is more coarse curly than hers is. But they got the hair from her dad. And see, I'm talking too much. See, that's what it is. But that's it. And then I just go to the next one and braid that one. And there's one sticking out over here. See, I have to braid this separate. Even though it's little and it's tiny, it's demanding its own presence. It's like, I don't know what this is, but there we go. We got this little tiny one that's not a part of anything. You know, I'm going to cheat, folks. Here's how we're going to handle this one. It is now gone. So that's basically it. I'm going to be braiding this all the way up, anchoring it in. I'll do one more, and then that'll be it for today. It turned out to be one. And that finishes off this row. All right, so I'm going to wet it with a little hair ointment, because this is really rough. And then I'm going to spray it. Make sure it's combable. All right, so I'm finger combing it. I could use a regular comb on it, but you know, I'm not going through all that. See? Now, if I was trying to repair it, I would have to do this to all of it to make it look halfway decent. But it's so dry, because it's really, really dry. A good way to take care of them is to wash them or rinse them in fabric softener. People have different things. You can, you know, search and find which method is best for you. Now this is starting to be a little bit more flyaway, so I have to spray it with some water to keep it from being flyaway. This is really good if you're a hair braider and you always got these flyaway hairs all over the place. Just do this to it and it changes it. I don't know about the what they call pre-stretched. I think this pre-stretches it. Save yourself the money and pre-stretch it yourself. All right, so I want to add a little bit of dimension to this one. Why, I don't know, but I'm going to add a little bit of the kinky white hair to it. Yeah, this kinky hair is pretty cool because it does match the black hair texture unpermed, whereas this matches our hair when it's permed or straightened in any kind of way. So I'm going back, remember, back to the black, and here's where I start. See, I go around. Once you've got it anchored in, you're good. And then you can split it into the 3 pieces that are even. See? And in this case, I actually put 2 pieces and created the 3rd piece as I went. All right. And it's not going to come out. That's in there. See? It's in there. It's like Prego spaghetti sauce. It's in there. All right. So here we go. And that's it. And this goes all the way up. Now in the next video, we're going to be done with all of this. It will be on my head. I will take you through the, no, it won't be on my head. I take that back. We're going to be dipping it. Or, no, I think I'm going to dip it because I'm too lazy. We're going to dip this in water and trim. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the frayed ends like I showed you with these 2 pieces. I'm not doing that with this. I'm just going to cut it on an angle, and it's all going to get dipped in hot water or very, very warm water. It doesn't necessarily have to be hot because that's also dangerous. We're going to dip it, and it will be ready for me to then, after I dip it, it'll be ready for me to cut the bangs because I want to wear Chinese bangs. I found out my eyes, because people have commented on my daughter's eyes and stuff. We have Asian blood. We just haven't figured out where it came from yet. But when they've done the DNA, ancestry DNA thing, it comes back in the chart. It comes back European from Irish, Scottish thing was very dominant, and Nigerian. I'm like, that's why I'm so strong built, because Nigerian people are very strong built and they look younger when they're in their older ages. They look young. So that's where that comes in. But the eyes shows up. Asian is in the chart too. No Native American so far, but that Asian component shows up. 3 of my family members have done it, and it shows up in their charts. My brother, my grandson, and my daughter. It showed up in their charts. I can only imagine when I do mine, it's going to be in there too. Because when I was younger, I really did have more Asiatic looking eyes than I do now. And even now, some people think that I might be mixed with them. Not a direct mix for sure, but it is in the blood. So I look good with the Asian hairstyles. So I'm doing an Asian short bang, not a long one, an Asian short bang on this when I'm finished. And I'll flip it so I can wear it, like this, part in the middle or over to the side, or I'll be able to do the Asian bang by flipping it around. So anyway, that's the end for today. We've been on here a long time. I want to thank you very much for following along with it, and I'll see you next time. Until then, thanks for visiting Felice's Closet.